The sun shone brightly on Earth, casting its warm rays over a peaceful suburban neighborhood. Birds chirped, and the sound of children laughing echoed in the distance. In one backyard, a small child, no older than 7, sat on the grass, playing with a toy rocket ship. The child's bright eyes sparkled with imagination as they launched the tiny spacecraft high into the sky, pretending to explore distant planets and galaxies. The world seemed safe and calm, far from any dangers or threats. But that peace was about to be shattered. Without warning, the sky above the child darkened. At first, it was subtle, a flicker in the air, a ripple like a heat wave on a scorching summer day. The child, oblivious to the change, continued playing. But then, the air itself seemed to tremble as a massive shadow grew larger, blocking out the sun. A huge, cloaked warship from the Galactic Empire appeared, its massive silhouette looming above the clouds. It shimmered with a distorted glow, barely visible at first. The child's eyes widened, not in fear but in wonder, as they looked up at the unfamiliar object in the sky, unaware of the danger it posed. The peace was over. In a split second, the calm was torn apart. Without warning, the warship's engines roared, and a massive energy beam shot down from its underside. The blast struck the ground with terrifying precision, causing the earth to tremble and crack open. Everything around the child was engulfed in a fiery explosion. The force of the blast threw dirt and debris into the air, creating a deadly storm of dust and smoke. The child's scream echoed in the mother's mind, a sound she would never forget, though she was far away at the time. The sky above was filled with the blinding light of the explosion, and the once peaceful backyard became a charred wasteland. The air was thick with the smell of burning wood, earth, and something more. Something that reminded the mother, now rushing toward the scene, that her world had just ended. The mother, a former soldier who had seen combat and death before, arrived at the wreckage, her heart pounding in her chest. She had no idea that her life was about to change forever. Her eyes scanned the ruins, her legs moving faster as she frantically searched for her child. But as she reached the epicenter of the destruction, she realized with growing horror that there was nothing left. Nothing but ash and twisted metal. The small toy rocket ship lay half buried in the dirt, a heartbreaking reminder of the life that had just been stolen. Her only child was gone. She fell to her knees, a wave of grief and shock crashing over her. Her world had crumbled. The mother's hands trembled as she searched for any sign of life, but there was none. The child she had raised, the one who had filled her life with joy, was gone in an instant. The child had been a bright spark, now snuffed out by a single act of destruction. But in the pit of her heart, something else began to stir, a burning anger, hotter and fiercer than any grief. It wasn't just sorrow, it was the feeling of betrayal, of injustice, of an enemy that had come to her home and taken what was hers. The Galactic Empire's warship had vanished into the distance, leaving nothing behind but destruction. The mother clenched her fists, her grief turning into a quiet but intense fury. She knew this was no random attack. This wasn't just a strike for power or dominance, it was personal. The Empire had come to Earth with one purpose, to make an example of them. But they had made a fatal mistake. As the Empire's warship faded into the horizon, leaving only silence in its wake, the mother's resolve hardened. She swore vengeance on the forces that had destroyed her life. She would not rest until the Empire paid for what they had done. And as she stood there, surrounded by the wreckage of her home, she realized that Earth's peaceful days were over. This was only the beginning. The Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth, and soon they would learn just how wrong they were. After the devastating attack on Earth, the mother's grief slowly turns into an overwhelming desire for vengeance. But there's one person who holds the key to humanity's survival, her husband, a brilliant scientist working for Earth's defense agency. The father, though shaken by the tragedy, knows that the fight for justice has only just begun. One late night, while going through old files, the father stumbles upon something strange, an ancient project hidden away in Earth's archives. This project, known as the Super Soldier Program, was designed in secret decades ago. The files reveal that Earth's top scientists, including his own colleagues, had worked to create genetically enhanced soldiers capable of matching the most powerful alien forces in the galaxy. The father's heart races as he realizes the potential of what he's uncovered. This program, kept under wraps for years, could be humanity's last hope. It's not just about defense. It's about the ability to strike back, to fight back against the empire that has so brutally taken what was dear to them. The father wastes no time. Desperate to make the truth known, he goes straight to Earth's leaders. The military, the government, and every major faction on the planet gather in a top-secret meeting. The anger is palpable and the thirst for justice is overwhelming. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake, and now humanity was ready to fight back, not with diplomacy, but with firepower. The leaders agree that the time for negotiations is over. Earth must unleash the super soldier program and awaken its most dangerous weapon. With the decision made, the world holds its breath. Volunteers come forward from all walks of life. Soldiers, scientists, and even civilians, like the mother who lost her child. They all have one thing in common, a burning desire for revenge. They undergo the painful and grueling process of genetic enhancement. High-tech machines hum to life, and glowing needles inject powerful serums into their bodies. Their DNA is rewritten, and their bodies are altered to unlock their full potential. The transformation is not easy. The soldiers feel their bodies changing, bones strengthening, muscles expanding, and reflexes sharpening. It's excruciating, but they endure it because they know what's at stake. After what feels like an eternity of pain, the transformation is complete. The soldiers who once looked like ordinary humans now stand taller, stronger, faster, and smarter. Their minds are enhanced with combat algorithms, making them skilled in every form of warfare. As the soldiers step out of the transformation chambers, the world watches. The mother, now transformed, stands side by side with her fellow soldiers, ready to take on the Galactic Empire. It's a moment of awe for humanity. Ordinary people, just like anyone else, have been turned into Earth's last line of defense. The process is a visually intense display of high-tech equipment, glowing lights, and advanced implants. It's clear Earth is no longer the underdog. The stage is set for a battle unlike any before, and humanity is ready to strike back. After weeks of preparation, Earth's super soldiers are ready for their first mission. The stakes are high. They must strike the heart of the Galactic Empire's power and send a clear message that Earth will no longer cower under their rule. The mission is to infiltrate a heavily guarded Galactic Empire base located on a remote moon. It's a bold move, but the super soldiers are equipped with the latest technology to ensure their success. Each soldier is outfitted with state-of-the-art gear, including cloaking devices that make them invisible to the enemy, advanced AI systems that help them predict enemy movements, and plasma rifles with immense firepower. They also wear robotic exoskeletons designed to enhance their strength, speed, and endurance. Energy shields further protect them from enemy fire. The soldiers know the mission is dangerous, but they are determined. They have a job to do, to show the Empire that Earth is no longer a victim. With the moon's dark surface as their cover, the super soldiers begin their infiltration. Using their cloaking devices, they move silently through the enemy base, evading detection as they make their way toward their target. The AI in their helmets feeds them real-time data, alerting them to enemy patrols and opening pathways to avoid confrontation. They advance with deadly precision, ambushing guards and taking them out swiftly before they can raise an alarm. The atmosphere is tense. Each step is calculated, each movement is fluid as the soldiers approach the core of the Empire's base. Their mission is clear: plant explosives in key locations to cripple the enemy's operations. The quiet corridors are soon lit up with the dazzling light of plasma rifle blasts as the soldiers break into the heart of the base. Explosions echo in the distance, signaling the beginning of Earth's revenge. But just as they begin to set the explosives, everything changes. The Galactic Empire has noticed their presence and is sending reinforcements. An elite battalion of soldiers, equipped with advanced armor and weapons. The super soldiers are quickly outnumbered, and their cloaking devices start to fail under the pressure of the Empire's counterattack. A deadly game of cat-and-mouse begins. The soldiers are forced into open combat, and the pace of the mission intensifies. They can no longer hide in the shadows. It's a fight for survival. With their cloaking tech malfunctioning, they are exposed, but they don't back down. The soldiers rely on their enhanced strength and combat skills, evading laser blasts and striking back with lethal force. The energy shields flicker under the impact of enemy fire, but they hold strong, giving the soldiers just enough time to land devastating blows on their foes. In this fast-paced battle, every second counts. The plasma rifles light up the dark corridors, creating a blinding spectacle as the super soldiers cut down the Empire's forces one by one. The soldiers' movements are fluid and precise, as if they were designed for this very purpose. Every strike is calculated, and every step brings them closer to their goal. As the fight intensifies, the soldiers' faces show determination, fearlessness, and unwavering focus. They are not just fighting for themselves, they are fighting for Earth, for the future, and for justice. The visuals are electrifying. Flashes of plasma fire, the glow of energy shields, and the chaos of battle all combine to create a cinematic experience. The super soldiers are holding their ground, but the battle is far from over. The time has come for Earth to show the Galactic Empire just how far they are willing to go to fight for their survival. The super soldiers, now Earth's last hope, are leading a full-scale assault on the Empire's fleet, which hovers ominously in Earth's orbit. The stakes have never been higher as Earth's forces prepare for the largest battle in human history. The scene unfolds in space, where the battle is nothing short of chaotic. The Empire's massive warships fire enormous energy blasts at Earth's forces, shaking the very fabric of space around them. The silence of space is shattered by the thundering blasts of plasma fire, missiles streaking across the stars, and the relentless roar of conflict. The Galactic Empire has the advantage in terms of numbers and firepower, but Earth's super soldiers have a secret weapon: their agility, strategy, and determination. While the larger ships exchange devastating blows in the vastness of space, Earth's super soldiers are not confined to the battlefield outside. Using their cloaking devices, they infiltrate the Empire's ships from within, sowing chaos and confusion. Stealthily, they board enemy vessels, bypassing defenses and triggering explosions that disable the Empire's war machines. The super soldiers move like shadows, each strike a message to the invaders: Earth will not go down without a fight. But the odds are stacked against them. Despite Earth's technological advancements, the Empire's fleet far outweighs them in numbers and sheer firepower. The massive warships are armored and bristling with weapons, while Earth's forces are outnumbered. The super soldiers, however, refuse to back down. Their bravery and tactical ingenuity allow them to hold their ground. They use the Empire's overconfidence against them, outwitting the enemy at every turn. Just as victory seems within reach, the battle takes a tragic turn. One of the super soldiers, known to everyone as a fierce warrior and the mother of the child killed in the earlier attack, faces a devastating blow. Amid the chaos, her comrade, a close friend who has fought by her side throughout the war, is struck down by a deadly blast. He sacrifices himself to protect her, ensuring that the mission continues. His death sends a shockwave of grief through her, but also fuels her anger. She vows to honor his sacrifice by avenging him and continuing to fight until the Galactic Empire falls. The stars above Earth are lit up with explosions as missiles rain down on enemy ships, each burst of light marking another victory or loss. The space combat scenes are a whirlwind of activity, with ships dodging orbital bombardments and evading missile strikes in the blink of an eye. Inside the enemy ships, the super soldiers engage in brutal close-quarters combat. Sparks fly from broken machinery as the soldiers fight their way through the twisted metal, their weapons flashing with lethal precision. The tension is palpable as they press on, unwilling to let the sacrifices of their comrades go in vain. As the battle rages on, the emotional weight of the mission hangs heavy. The super soldiers are not just fighting to win, they are fighting to protect the memory of those they've lost and to ensure that the Galactic Empire pays for the lives it has taken. The relentless pace of the battle, the fast action, and the sacrifice of a beloved comrade all come together in a poignant moment that proves humanity's strength is not just in its technology, but in its heart. The battle for Earth's survival has now entered its most intense phase. Earth's super soldiers, highly trained and genetically enhanced, have launched a full-scale assault on the Galactic Empire's massive fleet that looms ominously above Earth. The war has escalated from small skirmishes to a full-blown space war, and the super soldiers are determined to show the Empire that they will not stand down. The space battle is chaotic from the very beginning. Huge warships of the Galactic Empire, with their dark, menacing shapes, unleash massive energy blasts that light up the sky, sending shock waves through space. The soundless blasts tear through the void as the Empire's forces try to crush Earth's resistance. However, Earth's super soldiers, equipped with advanced cloaking technology, infiltrate these enormous ships. They are able to sneak inside undetected, moving through the darkness of the enemy vessels like shadows, ready to strike when least expected. Inside the ships, the super soldiers wreak havoc, disabling systems, planting explosives, and triggering massive explosions that disable the Empire's advanced weapons. Despite Earth's technological advancements, the odds are still heavily stacked against them. The Empire's fleet outnumbers Earth's forces, and the enemy ships are far more powerful. The Empire's weapons are built to destroy entire planets, while Earth's soldiers are still trying to learn how to take on a war machine of such vast scale. However, the super soldiers are relentless. Their ingenuity and determination give them a fighting chance. They use their advanced technology, their training, and their willingness to sacrifice everything to disrupt the Empire's plans. These soldiers aren't just fighting for themselves, they are fighting for Earth and everything they hold dear. Amidst the chaos of the battle, one of the super soldiers, a mother whose child was tragically killed by the Empire in the opening moments of the war, faces an emotional and devastating blow. During the heat of combat, one of her closest comrades, a fellow soldier who has fought by her side since the beginning, sacrifices himself to save her. He shields her from an enemy blast, giving his life to ensure that she can complete the mission. His death hits her hard, and the anger she has felt since losing her child now intensifies. She swears to avenge him, to make sure that no more innocent lives are lost, and to ensure the Empire knows the full force of Earth's wrath. The battle rages on above Earth. The stars themselves seem to explode with bright flashes of light as missiles explode, tearing into enemy ships. The space combat is fast and relentless, with ships narrowly avoiding orbital bombardments and energy blasts that rip through space. The super soldiers continue their fight inside the enemy vessels, engaging in brutal close-quarters combat. Sparks fly from broken machinery as they press forward, each step taking them closer to victory or death. In this moment, Earth's forces are not just fighting to win, they are fighting for their survival and to honor the fallen. The super soldiers have become more than just soldiers. They have become symbols of Earth's unyielding will, ready to sacrifice everything for the chance to take down the Empire and save their home. As the battle continues, the intensity and emotional stakes grow higher, ensuring that Earth's final stand will not be forgotten. She moves on and witnesses a father caring for his sick child, his face full of worry as he gently feeds her soup. There's no hesitation, no calculation, only love and sacrifice in every gesture. Ziraleth watches, mesmerized. The idea of a parent's devotion to their child, especially in a time of need, is alien to her. How can these beings so weak in comparison to her people show such deep emotion for each other? She then observes a group of friends laughing together, watching a silly TV show. Their laughter is loud, their joy infectious. The way they share this moment of happiness, completely unaware of the weight of the world around them, confuses Ziraleth even further. These humans, so unpredictable and full of raw emotions, are so different from her own species that she can't help but feel overwhelmed. It's almost as if the emotional depth of humanity is suffocating her, making her question everything she thought she knew about the universe. The moment that truly shakes Ziraleth happens when she watches a couple arguing in a quiet cafe. The words are sharp, their voices raised, but then something unexpected happens. The argument doesn't escalate. Instead, the couple softens, and before long, they're laughing together, hugging and making up. Ziraleth's mind races. In her world, conflict is resolved through cold logic, calculation, and precise action. Arguments end with decisions based on reason, not feelings. Yet, here, these humans settle their disputes with empathy, understanding, and compassion. It's this raw, unfiltered display of emotion that takes her completely by surprise. Ziraleth feels a strange discomfort, a pang deep inside her. Could this be what humans call love? She doesn't know, but she feels something unfamiliar, an emotion that stirs inside her chest as she watches the couple's reconciliation. For the first time, she realizes that emotions like love, kindness, and forgiveness could be as powerful as any weapon or piece of technology. Just as Ziraleth is lost in thought, the calm of the moment is shattered by an emergency alert flashing on her communicator. A terrorist attack has taken place in a nearby city and the situation is dire. Ziraleth watches from a distance as chaos unfolds. Humans, despite their vulnerability, rush into danger. Soldiers equipped with basic gear, not advanced armor or weapons, charge toward the scene, determined to protect their fellow humans. They defuse bombs, rescue civilians, and battle against attackers armed with far superior technology. Ziraleth can hardly believe her eyes. These humans, so fragile and outmatched, are fighting not sane to survive, but to protect each other. It's an act of bravery beyond anything she expected. Ziraleth's thoughts race as she watches these humans throw themselves into harm's way with no regard for their own safety. She feels a new sense of awe for them. They fight with something that isn't in her people's arsenal, human courage, fueled by a deep emotional bond to each other. This bravery shocks her, but it also moves her in a way she never anticipated. She begins to realize that, in the end, humanity's greatest strength is not their technology or their advanced civilizations, but the love and loyalty they have for one another. As the day progresses, Ziraleth finds herself increasingly fascinated by the human family she has been quietly observing. They seem so different from her own people. No cold logic, no complex technology, just the raw, simple joy of being together. She watches as the family gathers around a table, their faces illuminated by soft candlelight. They share a meal, laughing and telling stories. The sound of their voices, full of warmth and connection, fills the air. Ziraleth is struck by how easily they bond over such simple things, like the taste of food or a shared memory. For Ziraleth, this is something entirely foreign. In her advanced society, emotions are often buried under layers of technology and rationality. Relationships are formed through data transfers and precise calculations, and even work is done through complex systems controlled by artificial intelligence. But here, in this small, simple family, humans find joy without the help of any technology. The family members communicate through smiles, laughter, and stories. No screens, no artificial intelligence, just the unfiltered, genuine connections between them. Ziraleth can't understand it. How is it that these simple, emotional beings can find happiness in something so mundane? The contrast between Ziraleth's world and the human one becomes even more apparent as she continues to watch them. In the backyard of the family's home, an elderly woman tends to her garden with the assistance of a highly advanced robot. The robot's movements are graceful and precise, its metal body gleaming in the sunlight. It's a perfect example of the advanced technology Ziraleth is used to. Powerful, efficient, and capable of doing anything. Yet, Ziraleth's eyes are drawn to something even more surprising. A young human child, no older than 5, is playing nearby. The child is kneeling in the dirt, building a sandcastle with their bare hands, completely engrossed in the task. There is no technology involved in the child's play, just dirt, sand, and pure imagination. This simple, innocent scene overwhelms Ziraleth. She is used to seeing beings who rely solely on machines and technology to do everything, but here, a child finds joy in something as basic as building with sand. The emotional depth of the moment strikes her deeply, and for the first time, she feels a strange sense of admiration for these humans. It's in their smallest, most unassuming moments that she sees their true strength. An ability to love, to connect, and to survive even in the simplest of ways. For Ziraleth, this realization is overwhelming. She had come to Earth expecting to find a primitive, weak species. Instead, she is discovering something entirely unexpected. The strength of humanity lies not in its technology or its weapons, but in its ability to form deep emotional connections. These connections, born from love, compassion, and shared experiences, are what allow humans to thrive. They are what make them truly powerful, far beyond any technology or advanced machinery. Ziraleth's journey through humanity's daily life has already been filled with surprises, but nothing could have prepared her for what she is about to witness. After watching humans interact in seemingly simple yet deeply emotional ways, she finds herself in the middle of a community facing a devastating loss. A member of the community has passed away, and Ziraleth, though she has learned much about humans, still cannot grasp how deeply this loss impacts them. The community gathers to mourn. But it's not just mourning. They are celebrating the life of the person who has passed. Ziraleth watches as the humans come together, not in sorrow alone, but in a kind of joyous remembrance. They speak of the deceased with love, laughter, and stories. Some even smile through their tears, reminiscing about the good times they shared. There is music, there are candles, and there is an overwhelming sense of love in the air. The ceremony is filled with emotion, not logic. It is not a solemn, robotic ritual like anything she is familiar with. It is raw, it is real, and it is deeply human. She feels her own emotions stir within her, a sensation she has never truly experienced before, and it overwhelms her. Ziraleth's mind is overwhelmed by the stark difference between her own species' view on loss and what she is seeing in front of her. To her, loss has always been something that can be analyzed, fixed, or avoided through logic. But here, these humans are showing vulnerability, something she cannot understand. How can they value emotion so much? How can they face such a powerful emotional event and allow themselves to grieve in such a deeply personal way? The concept of loss as a shared emotional experience rather than a problem to be solved nearly causes her to collapse. She feels as though her heart is racing in her chest, and for a brief moment, she wonders if she is having the same reaction as these humans. She feels something she's never felt before: fear, confusion, and awe. She's unable to comprehend it. Could she ever understand the depth of human emotions? The truth hits her like a blow. As the ceremony unfolds, Ziraleth takes a step back, trying to regain her composure. She's flooded with questions. How can humans find strength in their vulnerability? How can they form such strong emotional bonds despite their technological limitations? The humans may not have the advanced machinery or the cold logic her species relies on, but their ability to connect with each other on a deep emotional level is something far beyond her understanding. She's beginning to realize that perhaps the true strength of humanity lies not in its ability to fight or to conquer, but in its ability to love, mourn, and bond with others. Ziraleth is forced to admit to herself that she does not understand humans at all. She had come to Earth thinking that her species was the superior one, that they could easily dominate these primitive creatures. But now she feels a vulnerability she has never felt before. In the face of loss, in the face of love and connection, humans have something far more powerful than anything her technologically superior species can ever possess. A deep, unsettling truth settles within her. Humans have an emotional intelligence that could never be matched by machines or logic. By the time Ziraleth's visit is coming to an end, everything she thought she knew about humanity has been completely shaken. Initially, she had viewed Earth as a primitive, weak planet, full of chaotic emotions that her highly advanced species would never understand. But now, after spending time among humans, seeing their acts of love, compassion, and resilience, her perspective has changed dramatically. She has witnessed firsthand how these seemingly inferior beings possess a power her technologically superior civilization could never replicate: emotional intelligence. Ziraleth reflects on her mission and the journey that led her to this revelation. She came to Earth to evaluate it, to judge whether humanity was worthy of an alliance with her empire. What she found, however, was something far beyond her understanding. The human's ability to form deep emotional bonds, to face challenges with bravery, and to overcome personal loss with love and unity was something that transcended technology. It was a form of power unlike anything she had ever seen, a strength that came not from machines but from their hearts. The ambassador now realizes that her mission was not just about observing humanity, it was about learning from them. She has come to understand that humans in their own way are not weak. They are far stronger than she ever imagined, and their strength lies in their connections to one another. Ziraleth has learned a valuable lesson. The true power of a species doesn't always lie in its technology or weapons, but in its capacity for love, compassion, and unity. As she prepares to return to her fleet, Ziraleth sends a message back to her people. Her tone is solemn but firm. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. They are not weak. They are a force stronger than we ever imagined. She now sees Earth not as a potential target for conquest, but as a planet with immense potential. Humanity is unpredictable, wild, and unlike anything her people have encountered before. Earth could be an ally, a wild card that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. As Zira-Leth's ship ascends, leaving Earth's atmosphere, behind she takes one final look at the glowing planet below. It's a beautiful sight, but now it holds far more meaning for her. Her last thoughts as she gazes down at Earth are filled with a mix of admiration and caution. They might not have the technology to defeat us, but they have something far more dangerous, something we can never control. The story ends with this ominous reflection, setting the stage for what could be a future filled with potential alliances, unexpected conflicts, or even shifts in the balance of galactic power.